Looking for a real good solid overview of the Ford F-150 Lightning EV, what it does and doesn't do really well? Well, you've just landed on it. Let's get to it. Unless you're living under a pile of rocks the size of a Ford F-150's payload capacity, you know that the Lightning is the first all-electric pickup from the Blue Oval folks, and that it's sold out for the foreseeable future if you didn't order a year ago, even though the Rouge Electric Vehicle Center in Dearborn, Michigan was expanded to meet demand. Chances are you can't even test drive one. So here's a close look at an XLT model in Antimatter Blue priced at $76,400 to help you decide if it's worth the wait. I've said a bunch of times that I've probably bought my last internal combustion engine car. I've driven nearly every EV and have come to love their refinement, performance, and the fact that they require a lot less maintenance. Pickup owners, I can see where they would be a little bit more reluctant. There's the issue of range, plus they tend to use their vehicles more like tools, doing a lot of towing and hauling. Mostly for neighbors and friends, but still. All Lightnings do the chores with a 5.5-foot bed and a Super Crew cab. Want a different configuration? Well, Ford has gas-powered F-150s to choose from, including hybrid powertrains. Lightning is a dual-motor setup with all wheels driven. Choose the standard 98 kilowatt-hour battery, and total power is 452 horsepower. This XLT runs with the 131 kilowatt-hour extended range pack that ups the oomph to 580 horsepower. Both battery configurations deliver 775 pound-feet of torque. This is not an all-new architecture, but the rear suspension is independent, unique to F-150. Losing the engine means an empty space in the nose. I've never done the TP trunk test with a pickup truck before because beds, those are for plywood and motorcycles. F-150 Lightning has the mega power Frunk. Is the echo too much? I kind of like it. It's not just a small cave. For starters, the hefty floor panel hides space for the standard switchable charge cord that Ford tosses in for free. There's a drain for ice chest use. Technically, that's not tailgating, is it? Heavy enough to use as a weapon, it's a divider to stop things from sliding around. That's just great creative product planning. And Ford, give the designer who thought up the molded-in ruler a raise. Tie-downs? Check. Lighting? That's helpful. Shouldn't run out of outlets for running camping gear or tools either. Ford says 2 bags of clubs will stash in here. It's 400 liters or 14.4 cubic feet. And not everyone's a golfer. I think everyone can relate to this. About the same size as a carry-on suitcase. Since it's squeezable, I could have wedged 4 packs in, but let's call it an easy 3. People love the visual of the Mega Frunk. The opening and closing sound is not the most elegant of operations. At least this one. With the big battery pack, F-150 Lightning will shoot from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. It's not that long ago. That was high-performance sports car territory. And this weighs 6,800 pounds. Man, that's fast. And I'm really familiar with EV dynamics, the instant torque, the lack of engine noise. But this is so familiar, the dashboard of an F-150. No engine growl is very disorienting. It's so quiet. It does take a while to get used to. Some will miss the din of pumping pistons. Maybe in these stressful times, the sounds we need are these. Not this. Just a thought. Ford says this is the most aerodynamic F-150 ever, and that might be true, but it's the shape of a shoebox. There's going to be some wind noise coming off the front end and the A-pillar, but it's really not bad. In fact, it shows how quiet this vehicle is. Only a little bit of road noise coming through. It's as hushed as a luxury sedan, like a Lexus LS. Seriously. People and animals don't hear it coming. Drivers might want to be more careful, or maybe these crows have severe hearing loss. Selectable performance sounds inside the cabin are exclusive to Platinum models. Hopping into the Lightning, there's a nice splash screen greeting sequence. You'll never forget you bought a Ford. Not anything in the way of sound design. On startup, no tones, just another reminder of what you bought. And why not? This is not an inexpensive truck. Being an EV, there's no geared transmission, just a selector. Rising into place is a cool visual, but because of the mechanism, the shifter itself has some play and looseness in the action. The tachometer is replaced by a battery gauge and regen meter. There's a lockable rear diff setting. Ford's Pro Trailer Backup Assist is part of a $1,400 tow tech package. Drive modes are pretty straightforward. The recuperation drag has a single on-off setting that's not available in off-road or tow. There are temperature gauges for the battery and motors. Without noise, it's easy to forget that this truck is running and in gear. I appreciate that when the door is opened, it shifts into park automatically. Let's get out and drive some more. First up, how far will this go on a charge? With the extended range battery pack, the EPA rates the F-150 at 320 miles of range. In mixed driving, I'm seeing about 290, temperatures in the 70s. The top Platinum trim drops in range a bit to an EPA-rated 300 miles. Over 5 years, Lightning's fueling costs are $11,000 less than an F-150, and that's with the hybrid powertrain, and on average around 14 grand less than gas-only F-150s, Silverados, and Rams, plus Toyota Tundra Hybrid. Lightning weighs around 1,100 pounds more than an average ICE F-150, so there's even more heft in hard cornering. Yes, batteries in the floor mean a lower center of gravity. This is not a sports car. And yes, this does have an independent rear suspension. But really, this drives pretty much just like any F-150. Pretty good. Hit a big bump and there's some shimmy in the chassis. Hit undulating pavement and there's a bit of float. Ram and the new Tundra might have slightly better driving dynamics, but to haul pea gravel in an EV, this GMC Hummer EV and Rivian R1T are the only way to do that using electrons, conveniently at least. Max payload is 2,235 pounds. Properly equipped, this will pull up to 5 tons, and deep, rich torque is good for that. Let's talk towing, which I believe is F-150 Lightning's Achilles heel. Not that it can't tow, but you gotta remember, aerodynamic drag and weight is the enemy of any EV, and tugging a 6,000-pound trailer is going to drop the range by half, at least. And also, when going to charge, most stations don't have pull-throughs, so that's gonna get awkward. You might even have to unhitch your load to charge up. Long-distance travel with a camper will require planning, strategery, and maybe some luck. Gas engines win here. Know what you need. Brake pedal feel when switching from regenerative braking to the actual physical binders is seamless. Nice job, Ford. And I've got this in one pedal drive mode. Let's do a coast down from 40 miles an hour, foot off the throttle, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, and a complete stop. So yeah, one pedal driving, definitely a thing. Here's the thing though, I prefer to not use this in one pedal drive. I like using the brake pedal. It's such a large vehicle, it just gives me a better sense of control. Personal preference. And just like any F-150, this feels like the Queen Mary from behind the tiller. In dense urban traffic, the Rivian should be a more relaxed experience. At a Seattle parking garage, I needed to execute a 2-point turn to enter. That shouldn't be any surprise. Did I mention this is quiet? I mean, really, really quiet. It's amazing. Tesla might provide a more convenient charge experience overall, but I've stopped guessing when its truck might arrive. Ford has a similar plug-in charge system with a number of providers like Electrify America. No need to use an app, just plug into the Lightning and it just juices up. Owners get one bill, no matter how many providers are used. It doesn't always work though, and station reliability needs to be improved. This screen isn't uncommon. And remember that DC fast charging is much more expensive than taking on electricity at home, where some 85% of charging is done. Using the charge cord that Ford supplies in 240 current, Lightning takes about 20 hours to charge from 15 to 100%. Now, you can drop that to 8 by using a dedicated wall charger on an 80 amp circuit. Here at this 150 kilowatt station, it'll go from 15 to 80% in about 40 minutes. Though the battery wasn't especially low at this session, my charge speed was halfway decent. If you're not schooled on EV charging, it happens fastest when the pack is spent and slows down as it hits 80%, where the rate drops significantly. Remember what I said about towing? Clearly, these spaces were designed for cars. Lightning's butt is hanging into traffic. I'm not spending tons of time on the interior. Since F-150 is the most popular vehicle sold in the US and Lightning's cabin is essentially the same, most buyers interested in a pickup know exactly what the space is about. Material quality is not up to the standards set by Ram or the new Silverado and Sierra, but those aren't available as EVs yet. The wheel is heated, so are the seats that are comfortable and supportive. If you were wondering about the motorized shift stock, well, here's why. This is great for working on a computer at the worksite or for lunching, though I'd rather be eating a Big Mac and fries. Man, there are a lot of places to stash tools, thermoses, sunglasses, drinks. Most of the cubbies are pretty spacious. A large laptop computer stash is here. So does a 5-pound bag of sugar. Hey, I had shopping to do at Costco. A Lightning can be driven by anyone. Not all pickup users are big bros. There are casual voice commands. They don't seem to be fully integrated into the vehicle. For example, hello, Ford. Turn on the heated steering wheel.
Please try again.
Cancel. Don't go away mad. It seems to be better at finding radio stations and navigation. Hello, Ford. I want to go to Dairy Queen.
Which item would you like?
Number 1.
Start en route to Dairy Queen.
Time for a banana split blizzard. Ever had one of those? They are really good. Lariat and Platinum models get a larger 15-inch screen running Sync 4A. XLT runs Sync 4, no A, on a 12-inch display. This user interface is logically laid out and the screen sensitivity is decent. There are enough hard buttons, so getting to HVAC and audio controls is easy. I wish the sound quality was better on a $76,000 truck. It lacks punch and richness. This Lightning is equipped with a scale system that signals optimistic owners about payload. Perimeter lighting can be set from the screen or Ford's mobile app. Lightning's exclusive light bar is pretty bright. Oh, and I'll point out that Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless, but on XLT there is no wireless phone charge pad. Why am I here? I've already done the F-150 Super Crew backseat. This is the Lightning, the all-electric version. Does it matter? They're exactly the same, right? I mean, we're both 5'9", space, not an issue back here. Head, knee, leg, and foot room are epic. It's an F-150. Cushions are high enough so that thigh support is excellent. The door opening's big enough so that you could get 2 car seats in and out at the same time. Look at all the pockets. There are IKEA storage units that don't have that kind of space. Plus, pockets on both seat backs, yes. Cup holders, those are easy to reach. A little slot for your phone there, and if you need to charge it up, plenty of power ports. You can even charge up a computer here. This space is really roomy. 3 full-sized electricians will fit back here. See what I did there? Also, the seats flip up, so if you want to put big things in here and lock them up, that is no problem whatsoever. Also, little box here for storage. Other than the light bar and a lack of breathable grille, which would make this the Mega Power colander, Lightning looks like any F-150 and uses the same, and I quote Ford, military-grade aluminum body panels. The wheels are different, more aerodynamic. Using much of the existing structure, body and interior help speed development and lower costs. Again, the 5.5-foot bed is the only way to get a Lightning. Not everything needs to be powered by a motor or a chip to impress. Simple stuff that doesn't really cost anything, just some thought before molding the plastic goes a long way to make this tailgate more useful. Wood clamps fit in here. You'll never want for a way to open your root beer. While this wasn't visible as anything special to most people, the few that spotted the badging were super jazzed.
This, not so high tech, but it does help you get into the bed. Personally, I like the foot cutout that you'll find on GM pickups. Very simple, very useful.
There are loads of slots to divide the space so gear doesn't roll around. And Pro Power on board delivers 9.6 kilowatts of power with 11 outlets to run tools, grills, refrigerators, and DJ setups, even charge another EV. Teslas too. Good to see Jim Farley has a sense of humor.
You may have heard if the power goes out, a fully charged Lightning can run the average house for about 3 days, 10 if you're really, really careful. And that's great. The only issue is that equipment will run you $8,000 to $10,000. A good home generator system is half that, and a really long extension cord to power your fridge or freezer, $100? Just saying.
This XLT model will take care of nearly everyone. Canadians might get tired of this. Moving up to the Lariat is just an extra $3,000. That gets you leather seating and nicer trim in the cabin, plus a much better sound system. I think that's worth it. The Base Pro, that's oriented towards fleets with the standard pack, has a base price of $42,000. A loaded Platinum retails for $93,400. Richie rich. Moving on to red light, green light. Green lights include wickedly fun power on tap. This is as quick as a Mustang GT. The Mega Power Frunk isn't just useful, it's a conversation starter. The Pro Power on board system is great for construction sites, camping trips, and parties. And the refinement of the Lightning, especially on the highway, it's a pleasant way to go. Yellow lights? I think the range is pretty good unless you're trying to tow long distances. Charging speed is solid, but the large pack takes a spell to juice up without a dedicated circuit that's 48 amps or higher. Comfortable, there's some float and vibration from the structure, and like any F-150, this is large, a detriment on crowded streets. Red lights. People that tow longer distances need to go in with their eyes wide open since it slashes range. The useful XLT interior and sound system are very average looking for a truck in the mid-$70,000 range. And unless you reserved one a while ago, they simply can't be found, unless it's being sold way over MSRP. That's kind of the same with Rivian. GMC Hummer EV is sold out for well over a year, and it'll be mid-2023 at best before the clean sheet electric Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra show up. So Ford's approach to adapt the existing ICE 150 to get to market fast has paid off.
Electrification works really well in the F-150. It's powerful, it's comfortable, it's quiet. This is really nice when you're taking long road trips. I don't know. You can go for a gas-powered F-150. They drive the same, but the only thing I see is towing. And, you know, if you're tugging a boat 30 miles to the lake and then 30 miles back, it's really not an issue.
Buying the right pickup has always been about assessing your needs and getting the right machine for the job. This is no different. Lightning will cover the needs of a lot of buyers. Full electrification suits the F-150 to a T. All of the prices that I've talked about depend on a lot of things, including the dealership that you're working with. Remember, kids, this is a free market economy. And for now, Ford electric vehicles still qualify for the full $7,500 federal tax credit and then any state incentives that might be offered where you live.
I've talked about my quote service before. You're definitely not going to be able to get an F-150 Lightning through that because these are sold out for forever and a day. but maybe a regular F-150, check it out. You get instant invoice pricing. Plus, it helps to support this channel. I kind of like that. Use any quote service, but use one, okay? You know, save yourself some time and trouble.
Of course, thanks to Martin Campbell, who spent the better part of a day with me taking on driving duty so I can shoot this rig running around. The only real chore of significance that I did was haul a very old space heater to a transfer station. I had a Maverick a few weeks back and I got most of my chores out of the way. Again, know your needs. Maybe you don't need a full-size truck. By the way, Seattle has the most awesome dumps with great architecture and art. They don't accept radioactive materials though, and who doesn't have tons of that stuff they need to get rid of? This is the end, and the fun fact this week is all about how green these vehicles really are. There's a lot of chatter about all the resources that they take to build and the fact that some electricity isn't generated using clean methods. Well, there are a lot of smart people out there that work for the EPA and think tanks, and they've run the numbers, and all of them say over the lifespan of the vehicle, EVs are definitely cleaner. Okay? And, you know, people talk about coal. Coal, it's not used all that much for generating electricity anymore, and it's dropping every year. Renewables are much cheaper. That's what's happening. And, you know, if you want a gasoline-powered vehicle, go out and buy one, but don't spread misinformation, okay? All right. Well, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to this channel, click notifications, follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there. You can ask me questions or leave that question in the comments. I'm pretty good about getting back to people. All right, that's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk. Using the charge cord that Ford supplies and 240 current, you're looking at about a 20 hour. And that's why I like electric cars.